Do you want to get a job in Japan and work in Tokyo in something other than English teaching? Well, keep watching because I'm going to teach you how I did it as a fresh graduate. There's several ways you can move to Japan and get a job. You have the JET program where you become an English teacher and you kind of sent over, or you can be an expat, so your job's already lined up and they move you here, so basically transferred. Or you can follow the educational route like I did. Before we dive into how we can do that, I want to share my story about how I got the job I currently have and how you can do it too. I'll share some tips as well, so keep watching. Some of you may already know, but I work at a company called Tokyo Creative and I have been here for 3 years, working full-time in marketing, and it has been an awesome ride. Been a whole journey to get here. It did not happen overnight. I want to quickly give a bit of an overview of how I got this job in the first place, but we do have to go back a few years, so bear with me. I was in high school and I really wanted to study Japanese because I was a big fan of the Japanese culture, traditional culture, music, J-dramas, all that kind of stuff. My high school didn't offer Japanese, so I decided to move high schools. I was that serious, and for my last 2 senior years of high school, I went to a new place to literally learn Japanese as one of my units. From there, I went into university and I majored in economics, international business, and of course, Japanese. It led me to my study abroad year in Kyoto and Doshisha. Honestly, the best year of my life. I cannot express how amazing it was because I got to meet Japanese people, I got to do part-time jobs, I worked in a couple of restaurants and just experienced real life in Japan for the first time on my own. And then I came back to Australia and I still had a couple of years left on my degree, so while I was there I was like, I gotta do something to get a job, like get that experience on my resume. So I came across this Japanese firm based in Sydney. It was a marketing agency and I was like, can I work here? And they were like, sure. So I did an internship there and it also transitioned into like a more permanent role while I was finishing off my degree. Once I finished that, I was really happy at the job, but I decided I need to go to Japan. I want to live there and do a working holiday. Now, a working holiday is kind of a unique agreement between a few countries in Japan, and it allows like the citizens of Australia and whatever country to go to Japan and work in almost any job. It's a really awesome visa because it gave me the flexibility to go to Japan and almost do any job I wanted. And so I moved to Kyoto and I was like, I'm gonna work in a cafe. I love coffee, so I found myself there and I wanted to just like talk to locals, make coffee, have a chill time, and I did that for 6 months. But then I was like, okay, I need to step up my game, move to Tokyo and get a more permanent role. But my idea was to do kind of like entertainment stuff like modeling and just more casual work until the Olympics, which is where I wanted to get a job, which I did get. I was so excited. I had a job for the Tokyo 2020 Games, and of course the pandemic hit and I lost that job. I lost all the modeling jobs and I was going broke really fast. I didn't have money and I was looking at potentially flying back to Australia and giving up on my Japan dream. But I didn't want to give up, so I was applying to lots of jobs online. But as you know, there was nothing and I was panicking. I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And then one day I looked at Instagram and I came across Instagram story by Tokyo Creative, a company that I was following for a while, and they were looking for like a marketing position and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is perfect. But then I didn't apply. I sat on it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, I won't get it. That's too cool for me. And then I kind of like circled back, like, I don't know if it was a week later or something, or a couple, like I left like a big gap. And so for some reason, it was like destiny. I like went back to it and I was like, I should apply for this. The application process wasn't super straightforward because although I didn't need a cover letter, I had to, of course, submit my resume, but along with that, a proposal as well as a video introduction to like who I am. I worked so hard on that proposal, especially because I didn't know what the deadline was. It was basically until they found someone. So I was really panicked and like once I was set, I'm doing this, I was like go. Luckily I had previous work experience in Sydney at my marketing job, so writing the proposal was rather straightforward for me and I just had to perfect it. And in the end I submitted my video and my proposal. They came back to me and said, it was Ian, he was like, we'd love to have an interview with you. And I was so excited. I was so nervous because I felt like I'd come this far and if I didn't get it, I would be really upset because it just sounded like the coolest job ever. And yeah, I had the interview and it was partially English and Japanese. Part of the job requirements was to speak Japanese. They got back to me like really fast after the interview and were like, yeah, you got it. And I was like, yes! Oh my god, I feel like I almost cried. It was such a relief, and it was the start of my new life. It's been 3 years. Oh my gosh, it's May right now, and I got this job in May 2020. What a full circle that I'm making this right now. That was my story, but let's move on to you. How can you get here and find your dream job or move to Japan? Let's dive deep into your options of how to first of all get here. You have a few options for visas. Of course, you can get married to someone, get the spouse visa, and then find a job. But that's not really applicable to most people. Entertainment visa, so if you're a model, you can just get your agency to send you here, but that's also, once again, not really that applicable. Work visa, where you might have a company who transfers you, but once again, very specific. I have 2 options left, the working holiday, which is what I recommend if you have it in your own country. Unfortunately, the US doesn't have it, but I know Canada does, and quite a few European countries have it too. Or you can become a student. Da-da-da! If you love studying, this is perfect for you, but even if you don't, I highly recommend it. Even though I myself did not come on a student visa originally, I think if that was the only option I had, I would have, because I love studying Japanese, but also it gives you the opportunity to come to Japan and experience it when there's no kind of like pressure. Like you can just see, do you like living here? Is the culture for you? But not only that, you can learn the language, so you have the right kind of opportunity to potentially get a job. You're setting yourself up well, but also you can network with people in your class, or network outside your classroom, meet people, and just kind of get an overall experience for Japan. Plus, it is the perfect way to kind of like transition from once you graduate, you get a job. And I think a lot of language schools kind of maybe not give full assistance, but they do guide their students on how to get a job and teach them about Japanese business etiquette. So it is honestly a great way to do it. That reminds me, you can also, get a full scholarship like through MEX to come to Japan, but that is a whole other topic, but search that if you're interested. Now, what else do you need to get a job here? Like any country, you need some sort of skills. What kind of value are you going to provide to your future potential employer? Work on yourself, and Japanese is another whole separate thing. What skills do you have? Are you a software engineer, a fashion student, economics or business? Work on your skills, like build up that resume. Even if you're not in Japan, get like an internship in your home country, that local firm, because that's such a valuable thing to bring to a future company. Plus, it makes your resume look way better. If you don't have an undergraduate degree, I'm really sorry, but Japan cares a lot about qualifications, and getting a visa is hard if you don't have an undergrad. It's the tough reality. Now, going back to Japanese, everyone's saying it because it's true. You need Japanese. Okay, if you're a software engineer, or you're just happy to teach English, or you have a very good niche where Japanese doesn't matter, you're fine. But if you're like me and you're in business and you need to like talk to Japanese people, you have clients who are Japanese, your Japanese is gonna matter a lot. I have N2, but I don't have N1. There was so many jobs I couldn't even apply for because I didn't have N1. It was disheartening and heartbreaking, to be honest. Work on your Japanese. Even if you are nowhere near, it's the beginning of your journey, get N5, get a JLPT certificate under your belt, It's gonna help you, and people are gonna be really happy that you tried to learn the language, and it looks good to immigration, and it's a start. So don't ignore it. Work on your Japanese, even if it's basic. When you're looking for a job, let's say you have the Japanese, you have the skills, where are they? They're everywhere. LinkedIn, Gaijinport, other job forums, Facebook expat groups for people in Japan. There are so many jobs on there. That's how I got my Olympics job. A lot of people don't know about it, so get in there. But one thing that a lot of people don't do is kind of taking the initiative to reach out to companies, which is how I got my first internship in Sydney, and it worked. And if I hadn't gotten that job, I wouldn't have got my Tokyo creative job in Tokyo, because the experience was what got me this job, honestly. Another popular route is the job fairs. So these are more targeting undergraduate students who are like their 3rd or 4th years. These do tend to target Japanese students who are like studying abroad or international students, but they do not limit it to them. So this is a great option if you want to go the Japanese route, because I've seen online there's plenty of people who have managed to score like a job that way. One thing to mention is that they are really focused for business jobs. I feel like you've got the big 4, like, PwC, and they're all wearing the salaryman suits, and that was a bit extreme for me, but I did look into it and I signed up for a few, didn't end up going, but they're a great thing for some people out there. Another great way is to network. Like, find events in your local town, like connect with the Japanese people. You never know who you'll meet, who can connect you once you come to Japan. Even if they don't get you that job, they might just be like a friend and support system. Even if it's not like a paid gig, do some volunteer work. Like in Sydney, they have the Japan Foundation, and I signed up for their volunteer newsletter, and there was always interesting stuff going on. So that's a really awesome way to like get your foot in the door, find people who can expand your current community. Another very unique way to find a job, I don't know if they're very big back home in Australia or in the West, but is a recruiter. If you have an account on LinkedIn and you're based in Japan, you will get recruiters messaging you. So how that works is they will reach out to you and then say, hey, you're looking for a job, like might have one for you, and they'll try and set you up with a company. And I have friends who found jobs through recruiters, so they're a great alternative way to get a job. So don't dismiss it, and you know, they do the hard work. They find the people for you to connect with. Lastly, learn as much as you can about Japanese culture. I cannot stress this enough. Just keep learning. Watch Japanese dramas, make Japanese friends, research it, read books. Japanese culture is so unique, and especially the business etiquette. It is something that you will continually learn new things about. Even having worked at the same company for 3 years, I still experience culture shock all the time, so try and keep learning about Japanese business culture. Let me know if you guys have any questions about what it's like to work in Japan and what your experiences are if you already have, because I'm super curious to know what you guys think. I just want to share some of my experience and, you know, help you guys to live your dreams in Japan. I also filmed some BTS stuff from my work, so look forward to that coming soon. Thanks so much to everyone who found me here from Tokyo Creative. It means so much to me, and I'm so happy you're here, and I'm gonna work really hard to make lots of content this year. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Ganbatte to everyone trying to come to Japan. In the land of Nippon, Nippon, Nippon.